All right, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the post CPI data information. We'll go through that. We'll go through Bitcoin. The Bitcoin miners are having a good day so far. It's still early though. Hello, Edmund, Mocha Nut, Barry, Crypto Golfer, and Brent. And Jeff. Welcome. Yeah, let's go. Hopefully we get a little pump here during this live stream. We've cooled off a little. We had a huge up reaction to the CPI data, so obviously we'll look at that for a few minutes and discuss. And for those of you who are members, this is right exactly what we talked about yesterday on the members only live stream. So no surprise. Thankfully. So, and the market had a very nice reaction to this. And the Bitcoin miners are having some of them are having a huge reaction to this. We'll see if it holds all day long, but this is a big day. The Bitcoin miners are catching up to Bitcoin proportionally. They've fallen a little behind over the last 75 days, and this little push here is helping them catch up to the leverage plays that they should be versus, some of them have actually been lagging behind Bitcoin's performance over the last couple of months. Hello, Ricky. Hello, Organic Autos. Let's see. Hello, Keith, Tim, Steven, Bill, JD. Good morning. Welcome. CleanSpark is banging on all cylinders. Yeah, CleanSpark's at $4.94. I saw somebody earlier say it's taking a run at $5. It was over $5 earlier. Let me just go look at that. So this got up to $5.12 today. So we'll see where it lands at the end of the day. But either way, I mean, it's right in the neighborhood. So CleanSpark's making a run at $5. You'll see Iris Energy is making a run at $4. It was at $4 like 4 minutes ago. Now it's at $3.97. So, a lot of these things are on the move. Big days. Just to go over the big winners so far today, but we'll see because this does change. CleanSpark's been in the lead just all day long. Riot and Marathon, these guys tend to do their thing together. Two biggest market caps, and they're both up. Not quite 10% anymore, but they were up, as high as 11%. Marathon just ticked over 10%. Riot's at, just about the same. So those are up big time. Cipher is up big time. That's the third largest market cap. But everything, I mean, it's all green. With the exception of DigiHost. I don't know if that's showing up. I think my head is cutting off that box. But DigiHost is down about 1%. And any Sphere 3D is down about 2.6%. So those are in the red. Everything else is in the green. And a lot of these are way in the green. Let's see if I can get more of these onto the screen. That helps a little. Yeah, all right. So welcome to the stream. Impromptu stream, but I saw some people talking about a stream in the members only video. And obviously, I said I wasn't really going to do a stream unless something happened, but this definitely counts as something happening. Oh, I have my little stream deck isn't working for some reason, so I can't press the smash the like button. But if everybody could smash the like button, I would appreciate it. It helps the live stream out a lot. We are at 17 likes. We go for 100. If you guys could help out, I would appreciate it greatly. Hopefully everybody is having a good day. I mean, I think this is the best we could have. Well, you can always hope for anything, but this is so far a very good result off of the CPI data. Somebody's asking, Tom, can you explain the whole thing about miners making more money right now? So yes, I will talk about that today. The fees have gone up. They're coming a little bit back down to earth right now, so we'll see where they settle in. But yeah, for the better part of a week, the miners have been just making extra money in a big way, and I don't think that was being priced. I know it wasn't being priced in at all. You know, even if it's temporary, it's a bunch of extra money. These guys are going to make. Some of these guys will make millions of extra dollars this month, and then we don't know. This could all go back. You know, this could settle back down. We'll talk more later, but it does have to do with fees. So when a block is solved, you not only get the reward, which is new Bitcoin that is minted, which is 6.25 per block right now, but you also get whatever fees accumulated during the proof of that block. So that number went up astronomically over the last week. So I'll look at that. I do have a chart we can look at and talk more about that. Edmund sold June $5 CleanSpark puts for 80 cents. I'd rather buy for 420 or make 19 in 5.5 weeks than hold. Yeah, that's I like that a lot. Nice trade, in my opinion. Selling puts, especially in this environment, if you think we're going to keep moving up, and still, I'm going to go back to CleanSpark just because, Edmund's talking about what he did there, and you'll see, even though CleanSpark's having a monster day today, in my opinion, this CleanSpark is still nowhere near where it should be. You'll see, and again, I know 100 variables have changed since then, but last August, Bitcoin was at $25,000. And CleanSpark was at $6.84. So, all things considered, they're such a bigger, better company now. And I don't even want to get into the dilution conversation because that got overheated. But, taking all that into consideration, doing all the pluses and minuses, doing the math, in my opinion, CleanSpark's way undervalued still. So that is just my opinion. But, again, it's not even back to where it was last August, and it's 3 times the size of the company that it was last August. And Bitcoin is, $3,000 or $4,000 higher than it was on that day. So to me, using that as a benchmark, and as well as other things, I think CleanSpark's only getting going right now. So, and the same can be said for a lot of these. These are having nice moves to the upside, but there's an awful lot of room left if this happens and that happens. But if essentially, really, the number one thing that I'm looking to have happen is, can Bitcoin break out of this range? And, 31,000 is my target number. If we can get above 31,000, then I'm going to go to the Bitcoin 1 day. You'll see we did. So back on April 14th, so that's coming up on a month now, we candlewicked above $31,000. That was the peak of this run so far. We've had a pullback for most of the last month. I think this is just consolidation, in my opinion, and I think it's okay. I think it's healthy. We've held this $27,000 line very strong. So I think we're trading in a range, but I don't think the Bitcoin miners go do their next big moves unless we get out of that range, and to me, that's breaking this high right here. So if we set a higher high and get above this 31,000 that we hit coming up on almost a month ago, then I think we see some big breakouts in the Bitcoin miners. Let's see. I'm just going to try and catch up on some of the comments. Also, let's do a poll. Scott, Tom, hello. How rich could we be if we had the timing to swing trade? I mean, if you did everything perfectly, obviously you can make multiples more money. And I know some of our members and subscribers do swing trade some of these stocks, but you do have to pay close attention. If you're swing trading or day trading, you can really even day trade. Sometimes there's obvious day trades, in my opinion, but I don't really like to do that. It's a very small portion. Even swing trading is not the main thing I do. I'm mostly, dollar cost average, buy and hold person. But yeah, there's opportunity in here. These are volatile stocks. or even if you're just straight trading the asset itself, Bitcoin, you can see the volatility is massive. All right, nicely done. We're at 33 likes. Thank you very much. If anybody hasn't smashed the like button, it helps out the live stream a lot, so it would be much appreciated. Also, you can become a member. Our membership is growing. We have a really good conversation going. We had a really nice live stream yesterday for members only that I do want to bring something up that in the members only Discord is being talked about right now, and I have an opinion on it, so I just want to weigh in on that. But if you're not a member, first of all, thanks to those of you who are members. I appreciate it a lot. If you're not a member, it's only $5 a month, and you can hit the join button on the YouTube homepage. We do a members-only live stream once a week. We have a members-only Discord that, you know, I'm active in, and also the members each week get to pick a company for me to do a deep dive on. So we've been exploring some different industries on the members. You know, I know we focus heavily on Bitcoin mining on this channel, and we will always do that, but it is not the only thing out there, and there's some other big opportunities in my opinion. So I think there's some opportunities out there, and we're exploring them in the members only, and some of them, you know, some of them have already started to pop. Others, you know, are, I think, more long-term plays, but there's a lot of interesting stuff, so I enjoy that. So thank you very much to all the members for all of your input and suggestions, and thanks to all subscribers as well. And if you're not subscribed, also remember to subscribe to the channel, please. Let's see. Sorry, I'm catching up, guys. Sometimes I gotta take a second. George is not here today. He's on a job site, so he will not be joining us on this live stream. I regret to inform you. So it's just me today. Mocha, what's going on with Any? Thought we'd be at 50 cents, but apparently not. Yeah, I mean, Any is pulling, and Any's actually red today. I did not do it, but I will tell you the thought has crossed my mind to add to my position on Any. Any is a new position for me in 2023. So I have added, I think, 3 new positions now in 2023 in the Bitcoin mining space. Any is one of them. It hasn't really gone anywhere since I've added it. You know, it's up a few 5-10%, but you know, it's still at 42 cents, and I'm waiting for that run to $1. So we will see. I do think it's going to take their May report and maybe probably even their June monthly operational report before they pop, is what I believe, but we will see. And that's if they stay on plan. And as we've seen, a lot of these Bitcoin miners, you know, do have a very difficult time staying on their, you know, the plans that they hope to execute. Don't always go exactly from a time frame exactly as planned. Jeff says, cycle the dislike and like buttons to crack the algorithm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that could help. There's a few of us members who swing trade these miners heavy, and that is from Jeff. So yeah, let us know. Drop in the chat if you guys are making, you know, if you've had a successful swing trade. I always like everybody to share their success stories because, you know, we just went through most of the people here. I don't know, you know, some are newer than others, but a lot of you have been on this channel for a long time and probably even trading the Bitcoin miners maybe for even longer than that. And we had a really long, rough ride. So, you know, let's share our success stories. It's not bragging to share your success stories. It's you know, it's important for everybody to hear. There is, I mean, here we are I'm just updating. Riot's now back up 11.5%. Marathon's up 11.5%. So those are the two big market cap Bitcoin miners. So, whether or not you think they're the best or the worst or whatever the case may be, they're just multiples larger than all the other Bitcoin miners by market cap, not necessarily by operations or by number of Bitcoin mined. But that has a lot to do with balance sheet. That has a lot to do with investor or institutional adoption. They were the first two on the NASDAQ. So, there's lots of reasons why they're bigger. I do think, though, they're a leading indicator of what's to come for a lot of these other Bitcoin miners. So I don't know. Right now, Riot and Marathon are 3 times the size of the third largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, which is Cipher. And I don't know that that'll be true 2 years from now, which means, and I think Riot and Marathon are buy and hold. So I think they're going to go up. But, that means potentially there's even multitudes larger opportunities elsewhere on this board. So obviously do your own due diligence. But a lot of companies are coming on strong. And this is a big week. So let's take a minute and I want to show you, there's a lot coming at us in the Bitcoin miner world this week. So Cipher yesterday, 2 days ago? No, yesterday. Either way, they announced their earnings. So I want to talk about that a little bit. But also, I just want to go through, there is a lot going on this week. So, yeah, Cipher on Tuesday, which was yesterday, before the market opened, they reported CleanSpark. So today, after the market closes, CleanSpark reports Iris Energy has their after the market update. So we got conflicting updates after the market today. I am very interested to see this CleanSpark report. I'm also very interested, Iris indicated they've got some big news today, so we'll see what that is. And then, before the market opens tomorrow, so, if you're interested in any swing trades or day trades on CleanSpark, Iris, or Marathon, before the market opens tomorrow, Marathon's reporting. So I think this is going to be hugely helpful for us because I'll come back to this schedule in a minute, but I want to go to this schedule. This cost per coin schedule, I can only update this once a quarter because that's the only time we get this information. So, and I like to get the information from the financial statement. So some of the miners now are starting in their monthly operational update. They're starting to say, our energy cost is X, Y, or Z, but that doesn't always line up to their financial statements. So, once a quarter, we get to update this. So these December 31st numbers are pretty stale at this point. So it will be nice, by the end of next week, most of these companies will have told us, what their financial results were for the period ended March 31st and 2023. So we'll be able to update all these to much more current numbers. I think there's good numbers coming. I really do. I think people are going to be surprised. Obviously, Bitcoin was significantly higher in the first quarter, calendar year quarter of 2023 than the fourth quarter of 2022, where, it hit its lows for the last 4 or 5 years. So the revenue side should be much better, and I think the cost side is going to be good. And I will tell you, Cipher, who announced yesterday, and I've held off, they really just started mining, so they did have December 31st results, but they were so small. They only mined a few Bitcoin, and I thought they would skew this chart. But now, in the results they just put out, they mined over 1,000 Bitcoin in that quarter. So, they were up and running and operational, and their cost per coin came in just over $7,000. So there's the potential that they will have the lowest cost per coin. There's 2 or 3 other companies reporting that they're going to be competitive with that in their monthly operational updates, but we haven't seen a financial statement that corroborates that yet. But we may be getting them over the next few days. So I look for this chart to change. Like Iris and Bitfarms have been, at the low end of this list for a long time now. CleanSpark has been pretty consistent right here. A lot of these others have bounced around a lot. And, you know, I think a lot of these will change. Some of these, any one quarter is not, you know, I would not judge a company by one quarter, because strange things happen with energy costs and you know, in any 3-month window of time, this can be a volatile thing. But as we start to compile data over time and get averages, this is going to get more and more meaningful. And in the first quarter of 2023, really, we had a lot more Bitcoin miners that were completely up and running than we did last year. You know, Iris Energy is now all the way up and running. TeraWulf's all the way up and running. Cipher's all the way up and running. And, you know, those are 3 top 10 Bitcoin miners that, you know, 6 months ago really weren't doing necessarily much business. Some of them weren't doing any business, and now we're going to get some full results. So, bearing this in mind, that's why I want to get these financial statements, because, you know, is Bitfarms still at $11,500 a coin? Were they able to manage that electricity cost? Because I think we've seen a shift. It appears to me that a lot of the Bitcoin miners have shifted from, instead of just trying to get the maximum number of Bitcoin that they can mine on any given month, you know, and just, so that being their target, I think they've switched to a more hybrid approach where they're really trying to manage their energy costs, so maximizing the number of Bitcoin they can mine in a month while reducing their overall cost per coin, you know, and having a watchful eye on energy. And they're getting more and more sophisticated with how they're doing that. Cipher went through I finally did watch their earnings call last night, and they went through a really specific scenario where it shows, like, man, if you're paying attention, for some of these companies, if they micromanage this, they can make significantly more money. So, and I think we're seeing more and more companies doing that, but we need to see the financial results. So, you know, those will be coming. I think that's all good news ahead for the rest of 2023. The financial statements in 2023, I will just tell you this. It's my very strong opinion that I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but even if it hangs around where it is for the rest of the year, the Bitcoin miner financial statements are going to be so significantly better this year than they were in 2022, in my opinion, that I think, you know, that should lead to some rising increases in the price of the miners. And a lot of them are going to go from, I mean, there were, a lot of this is paper losses, but there were massive losses this year for almost every single Bitcoin mining company. The year ended 2022. So in 2023, I think there's going to be a lot of these companies that are going to show a profit, not just gross profit, but net income, cash flow positive. They're already, a lot of them, cash flow positive. And then I think we're going to start seeing income, so we can start to have, you know, PE ratios and that kind of stuff. And this can become a little bit healthier as an industry, because you know, the adoption here, this is still a small group. I mean, if you're watching this right now, you're one of a very small group of people that's paying attention to the Bitcoin miners. And, you know, you'll notice, obviously I read all the comments on my videos. There's still an awful lot of people that just pop in to, you know, give their 2 cents that this whole industry is garbage and everybody's already lost all their money and we're all living in a dream world. So, you know, those are just the people that are even paying attention at all. There's lots of people that this isn't even on their radar at all. So there's going to be a lot of sentiment change. And a lot of people don't realize there's, you know, Cipher's up. So I want to look at the Cipher chart. I believe they are up 500% in 2023. So, you know, the people who think, oh, there's no money to be made here. Now, I understand there was a lot of money lost on paper or realized if you sold. You know, if you bought high and sold low, then you lost money. And obviously, everybody's got to make their own decision. They have their own, you know, risk tolerance. So, but, you know, if you're on the flip side of this, if you dollar cost averaged in on a lot of these, you're already in the green. Or if you bought in, you know, at the right time, you know, if you got, I won't say lucky, but if you got, you know, if you were later, the later you were to this game, probably the better off you are. If you started buying in October, November, December, January, February, then, you know, you could be up 300, 400, 500% on some of these stocks. So, you know, and that's few and far. I mean, you're lucky to have options perform like that. These stocks are performing like that, and I think there's still that type of run ahead for some of these companies. Gorilla, hello. Welcome. Let's see. I'm going to try and catch up. Jeff, there's... Oh, that's the one I just said. What's your most undervalued miner? I'm going to answer that question. And that's always a tough question, and it does change because, I'm going to go back to this board. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. So the reason that this changes is, when companies have, like, CleanSpark's up 16% today. So, if a company's had a 75% run or something like that a week or 10 days ago, maybe they were my most undervalued. But now, even though they're still a buy and hold, that first place position can shift. And there's a bunch of companies that are, in my opinion, just very, very undervalued. So it's hard to pinpoint that. So I would still, my two that I still think are the most undervalued, and some of you are going to think I'm nuts, and they're, well, Riot's actually my biggest position now by far, but that's because it's had such a nice run. But the other two are two of my top 5 positions, and they're CleanSpark and Bitfarms. I think still is. Bitfarms hasn't had its run, and I think it's coming. I know a lot of people are unbelievably frustrated with Bitfarms. They're having an okay day today. Up 7% is a nice day, but others are up a lot more than that. They have not had their run yet, in my opinion. So I think Bitfarms is still going to run. I think CleanSpark has still room to run. I do also think any, and this may be, a 90 or 120 day play, but I think any's got a bunch of room to run to the upside. So there's and if I didn't mention the one that you guys have in mind, it's not because, I think there's a lot more of these that do have upside. I only have a low conviction in just a handful of these stocks. Whereas, 6 months ago, it looked like, in September, October, November, December, the debate was, are half of these companies going to go out of business? Are all of these companies going to go out of business? But the truth is, a lot of these companies have made massive changes. Obviously, the economics of Bitcoin has changed dramatically since it's up almost a double from where it was in November. So, that there changes everything. But in addition to that, a lot of these companies that were on the brink of failure have totally reorganized their whole organizations. So some of them are now much smaller companies, and they're never going to be the company that they thought they were going to be, but they're healthy again. So I'm just not sure how many failures we're going to see in here. I think there'll be underperformers. There'll be some that still have, bigger runs ahead than other. And we're going to start to get a lot more clues. And these financial statements, so I'm going to go all the way back to where I started. We're going to get all these financial statements in the next few days here. So HUT on Thursday during the market, so just after the U.S. markets open, HUT is going to report. After the markets close, Mawson is going to report. This is tomorrow. And then on Monday, before the market opens, Bitfarm is going to report. So, if you want to trade on Bitfarm, that's a Friday trade because by the time the market opens on Monday, they will have reported their earnings for the first quarter 2023 or for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2023. So, this is the bulk of, and I expect the others that haven't announced an exact date. There's a few more that will probably, over the course of the next few days or weeks, either tell us that they're going to be a week or two late or report. So there's more than this, but this is most of the big ones. So we're going to get a lot of information. And I think some of these are going to get a bump. I mean, Cipher deservedly got a bump on their earnings because in my opinion, that was a very good earnings report. They also, and we had a conversation about this, so we did get some clarification. That's their... So, Cipher Mining purchased 11,000 new mining machines from Canaan. So, yesterday on the members-only live stream, I did ask the question because as I read this, and I will say I now feel very much more comfortable that I know what's going on. But yesterday, before I listened to the conference call, you know, it says, Tyler Page, CEO of Cipher, commented, "We are excited to formally begin our collaboration with Canaan." And to me, that language sounded very ambiguous. I mean, the title says they purchased 11,000 mining machines, but given the fact they're already in joint ventures with other companies, you know, saying they began their collaboration, I thought was very ambiguous. But somebody did point out on the members-only live stream that they had already listened to the conference call, and I do think there was a lot of clarity. You know, he still did not absolutely definitively say, but I feel extremely comfortable in that Tyler explained they did purchase these 11,000 machines. He said they got them at the best price or the best value that they've ever bought any of their machines at. It's a buyer's market. This is now the third different company that they're buying machines from, and they want to have a nice relationship with them. So I think that's what the collaboration was more about. But to me, just in the press release alone, it looked a little bit funny to me. But I feel much more confident now that they purchased these 11,000 machines. This is not going into some joint venture as far as I can tell or anything like that. And they will be installed at Odessa. So we did get a good look at, you know, the Odessa mining facility is where the vast majority of their machines are. And so looking at that cost per coin, Odessa was up and running for the first 3 months. So, you know, the majority of their coins mined was from that facility. So when I see that, you know, cost in the $7,000 range per coin, I'm starting to believe it, because that's where the majority of their business is going to be conducted for the time being. They're at 6.0 exahash. So just to sum up, they're at 6.0. This purchase will get them to 7.2. They have room at their other facilities to get up to a total of 8.2. So that's kind of their short to midterm targets. They funded all of this from operations, is what they said on the call. So they said they didn't use their at-the-market offering, and operations have been able to fund cash flow from operations, have been able to fund their growth so far this year, is what they said on the call. If you listen to the call, let me know if you agree, but that's how I heard it. So let me just go to Cipher's just to round this out. So the first thing I'll note is that, you know, Cipher, they're at $2.22. So, you know, when Bitcoin hit 31,000, they were about 50% higher than this. So that was just less than 1 month ago. So, you know, there's that potential 50% upside. But what I really want to show everybody is this is the type of opportunity that happens in here. And we talked about this all year last year. And, you know, it didn't happen. And for a lot of them, we're still waiting. But Cipher's up 480% from its low on December 23rd. So, you know, this is almost, and earlier today it did get, you know, if we go to today's high, well, at one point I thought it was pretty much exactly at 500%. Maybe it was 498 or 499%. But, you know, 500% is 6x from its lows. This was trading at 38 cents. It's at $2.22 now. And, you know, this could be a $4 or $5 stock before you know it. So I do think there's, you know, that's where all these are at. There's still, yeah, we're getting some of our money back. We're having a nice little run here on a lot of these, but overall, I still think lots and lots of room to go for most of the Bitcoin miners. Jeff thinks CleanSpark's the most undervalued. I'm going to mispronounce this, but Jeekson says, greetings. Pardon my pronunciation. I'm not good at reading names. So Keith says CleanSpark and Bitfarms. So that's what I said. So all right, Keith agrees with me. CleanSpark and Bitfarms, and it's not like that's a no-brainer and those are the best two by a mile. There's so many good options, but right now those are still the two. Even with this, you know, CleanSpark's up 16.6% right now on the day, which is a huge move. It is also up now. Let's go back to CleanSpark. You know, this is coming up on 200% move to the upside, 189%. Earlier in the day, it was at 199%. So almost a 200% upside from its low on December 15th. So, you know, we're coming up on 5 months now from that, but that's a short period of time to be up 200%. And you know, like we just looked at, Cipher's up 500%, you know, or close to it. So this is the one that I really am expecting a big, big move on. And I know that this, you know, this period right here has been a little frustrating because this whole period was very frustrating. I have a gold line here at $1. Remember, they had to get their 10 days above $1 just to get back in compliance. And they had to fight and fight and fight to just barely do that. They had a day here in the middle where they got down to $1.00. So, but they got their 10 days. They got their letter from the NASDAQ that they're back in compliance. I thought they would pop faster than this, but they're still in a battle. They're not even back to where they were in early February when Bitcoin hit $25,000. So remember, we're at Bitcoin is over $28,000 right now. So Bitcoin is higher and Bitfarms is still lower than it was a couple of months ago. So to me, you know, that's and it's only 9%, but that's just to get back to where it was. I believe it does belong at much higher places. I've been saying, you know, it should run up to $1.50. That's still another, you know, 32 or 33% run up from there. And then if it could get up to $2, you know, that's another 78% run up. I think all those are pretty short-term price targets for me, in my opinion. You know, I don't know. Obviously, it depends on what Bitcoin does, and Bitfarms has to keep performing. And we're also going to see their financial statements before the market opens Monday morning. So when we get that piece of data, if they continue to have good monthly operational reports, their balance sheet is so much healthier than it was, you know, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago. This is a company that, in my opinion, has turned the corner. If they're keeping that cost per coin down and Bitcoin can get out of run and break out of that $31,000 range, I think you could see this potentially at $1.13. It's not unreasonable for this to double. So, just my opinion. But that's why I think this still has so much upside left. It really hasn't even started its run. This hanging out around here at $1, I think later we're going to look back and go, what was going on here? This didn't make sense. And, you know, it got down to 38 cents. So, you know, that really didn't make sense. So even though I kind of backed up the truck here, I'm still not in the green on Bitfarms. I'm still in the red. So, just so everybody knows, I'm upside down on this, but, you know, I haven't added too much in 2023. I've started adding to some other ones that I think haven't, you know, started their run yet, but I did average in. There was some really nice opportunities down, you know, in the 40 to 50 cent range. I think was crazy time. So we'll see. Time will tell. Steve said, I swing trade. Oh, sorry. I just fast forwarded. I guess I was further behind. Then I realized Edmund, clearly Bitcoin is above 20,000, makes Wolf FCF and earnings positive in Q2 and Q, I assume you meant to say 3, or maybe Q going forward will be much better. So, yeah, I mean, I think so. I think we're going to, and Wolf is another one that should have a very competitive cost per coin. So, you know, that's also one of my new positions in 2023. So, I think it's 3 of them that I've added. What am I forgetting? TerraWolf and Any and blank. Oh, Cipher. Yes, I did add Cipher on the dip. They reported earnings, and you know, on that morning, just I guess that was yesterday or the day before. You know, they dipped, and so I bought on that dip because that dip didn't make any sense to me at all. So, and I did the same thing on Iris Energy. I bought Iris. So I guess, sorry, I have bought 4 in 2023. I bought Iris Energy this week for $3 and I think $3.30 or something like that. $3.28 maybe. I would have to go look, but you know, now it's sitting here at $4 already. And again, that was the same thing. They put out a great press release with great news, and their stock plummeted. I don't know what the deal is, but you know, with these Bitcoin miners, that seems to be what goes on. They put out a great press release, they give great news, and the knee-jerk reaction is a sell-off. So, you know, in 2023, I've been in the habit of buying those dips like immediately, because a lot of times they're gone by the end of the day. They've corrected themselves, which was the case with Iris Energy when I bought it, I think just last week, and Cipher when I bought it this week. I have been trying to let the members know in the members-only Discord if I make a purchase, and because I haven't added a lot of stuff this year, so when I add something new, I've been trying to drop that in the Discord for the members only. So if you're a member and if you're not hooked up to that Discord, it might be worth hooking up just so you can stay informed. Not that it matters what I'm doing, but just FYI. Stephen Andrews said, I think Bitcoin is about to launch again. That would be nice. Let's get back to the Bitcoin chart. I mean, we got this very nice push back up over 28,000, and we never really even, you know, we never really got anywhere near 27,000. This 27,300-ish has been very strong support. If I go on the 4-hour, like you'll see, you know, here's 27,300. So all the way back through all of this, it did get a little below this, but that's pretty much held for a long time now. This goes back to April 21st, and then really back to April 3rd. So the last time we broke below this was in March of 2023. So that line's a strong line of support. I have the 27,000 on here, dotted line, but really there's a line of support a little bit above that. Anyway, we've now taken out $28,000. So let's hope we can stay above 28, close a daily candle above 28. This 4-hour candle just jumped. So that did close above 28. So a 4-hour candle is a good start. A daily candle would be better. And then maybe we can start to make this run back up to 31,000. That's, you know, you've seen all this volatility up and down, but it's all, you know, to me, when I see this up and down within a range, you know, unless I see some indicators telling me otherwise, I think that's healthy consolidation. You know, we're already up nearly 100% on the year with Bitcoin, or from its lows, I shouldn't say on the year, from its lows in late November after the FTX situation. This yellow line right here represents a 100% increase in Bitcoin off of its lows. So you can see we did hit that on April 14th. So that's where we want to get back to if we want to continue the run. The next push up, hopefully, is, in my opinion, if we can take 31 out, we make a run at $35,000. So I will just do a quick poll because we've done this poll on every single live stream for the last month and a half. I'm keeping it simple. All right, so what is Bitcoin's next move? And these are the two numbers we've been using for quite some time now. Do we need to go retest this purple line at 25,200? So is the next move to 25, which would be a strong retest in my opinion, or is the next move up and we're going to break past 31,000 and finally make this run to 35,000? Which way are we going? And then I'll let you know what yesterday's poll results were once we're done with this one. So it's free to vote, so feel free to vote. And also, I can't hit the button because it's not working, but if everybody could smash the like button, I would appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. We're at 53 likes. We were getting 100 like clockwork, but for some reason we're struggling to get to 100 likes. That seems to help the live stream get out. It helps the live stream get out to a lot more people so that more people can join us and join the conversation and all that stuff. So I appreciate it. Jeff is saying, and it's still going to be 35K. Let's see. Calico. I made the worst move of all time, selling out of CleanSpark and dumping it into HUT. So the only thing that I would say to that is I would not panic. Right? I know CleanSpark just went on a nice run, and, you know, sometimes we've all been there. But, you know, unless you've changed your mind on HUT, you know, just be deliberate and stick to your plan and do your own due diligence. And you know, that doesn't automatically mean you blew it and you missed it and, you know, now you got to go chase it, because to me that's the bigger mistake, is saying, oh man, I missed it, I should have been in CleanSpark, and then switching back over to CleanSpark. But CleanSpark just had its big run up. So I have some pretty mixed feelings on HUT in the very short term. I am still bullish on them in the long term, but I do want to do a video. They put out their April operational update either yesterday or the day before, so I am going to do a video on that because, you know, there's some stuff to talk about going on there. So you know, they need to resolve some issues, but again, I also default to their balance sheet, which is, their balance sheet is spectacular. It's rock solid. So, you know, that is a big factor. They're operationally, you know, they're in the middle of a potential merger, and there's some other stuff not really going their way in the short term, and it's worth talking about. So I am going to do a separate video on that. But that doesn't mean it's, you know, it's a mistake. So, you know, use your best judgment. JJT said, I would say Mara, if only I could trust them on their execution. So it'll be, we get Marathon's financials tomorrow morning. So that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle for me. And, you know, I'm gaining confidence in Marathon. I opened a position in Marathon. I'm not counting that as a new position in 2023 because I've held them on and off for years. But I did move, and I said on the live stream when I did it, I did move a small piece of my RIOT to Marathon, you know, a while ago when RIOT was just massively outperforming. From a stock standpoint, it was outperforming Marathon big time. So I just moved a little from one to the other because I thought there would be a rebalancing there. So we'll see how that goes. Also, because I think that Marathon is doing a better job. Yeah, they're not at the finish line yet at all, but they're moving the ball at least. So we'll see. Let's see. At Robert, all depends on the dilution and exahash. Raven said never buy Mullen. Small cap EV company. Are they having a bad day? We'll just take a quick look. And then I want to take a quick look at Fubo also, because we'll see if they're... I mean, they're not getting killed today, but, you know, they just keep going down. There's the 1 month, so you can see, you know, this is moving in the wrong direction. And they did a reverse split of some. Mullen Automotive announces a 1-for-25 reverse stock split. So that was 7 days ago. So, you know, it got them up to, you know, looks like got them up to like $2.70. No, what it would have been just over $2. It looks like when they did it. So, you know, they got from this was so far under. They were never going to get back into a compliance with the NASDAQ without a reverse split. So, you know, these are the companies. So when we look at the Bitcoin mining companies, and this was a long debate for a long time, is this one going to do a reverse split? Is that one going to do a reverse split? And I'm worried because if they do, usually companies that do a reverse split are bad companies and they fail and their stock crashes. This is a perfect example. Mullen, not to pick on them, and this is just my opinion, but this is a company that is cash flow negative. Maybe they have potential. Maybe they'll go somewhere, but at some point. But this is a company that's on the brink of extinction. These are the types of companies that usually do reverse stock splits. So that's why if you do the math and you look at the averages, companies that do reverse stock splits usually look like an almost sure thing loser. But that's because most of them are desperate when they do that. The Bitcoin mining companies were not in that position. They all got under $1. You saw two that we just looked at that got down to 38 cents. So at 38 cents, you would say, wow, you know, they're not getting, companies don't get back from 38 cents back to $1. Well, one of them got back there in like 8 days. Argo Blockchain, right? And that's not even one of the ones we looked at. So that's how fast this can change because, you know, they had steps they could take and they were not, you know, on the brink of extinction. So they were just wildly oversold, in my opinion. And obviously, you know, the price of Bitcoin changing makes a big difference as well. So we've had a nice run up in Bitcoin. But, you know, while Bitcoin's up 100%, some of these are up 400% or 500% or 600%. Because they were just that far oversold. So that's my reverse stock split conversation. I know it's a big, big conversation on the channel. It was a big worry for a long time. There's still some people right now worried that Bitfarms is going to do a reverse stock split. So, number one, I'm not expecting that. And number two, if they do, it certainly is not because they're not in compliance with the NASDAQ. They already received their letter that they're in compliance with the NASDAQ, and it's not because their balance sheet isn't healthy, because their balance sheet is very healthy. So if management comes up with some other reason that they explain that they want to do a reverse split, you know, so be it. But I don't see any reason for it. I don't mind them authorizing themselves to do it so that it's an option that's on the table, but I don't see any reason for them to do it, and I don't think it's going to happen. Miner Doc said CleanSpark's run has just begun. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Miner Doc. That's one of my big positions, and I have not sold a thing, and nor will I for a long time on that one. I may mess around with options to try and take advantage of some of this run up. You know, now at this point, maybe potentially selling some covered calls, or we'll see. but I'm holding all my stock. Let's see. Hold on. We have Scott Richardson said, I would bet my $5 super chat that HUT will underperform CleanSpark in the next month. I mean, you might be right. That absolutely in the next month, I don't know that HUT's going to get any of the answers that they need in the next 30 days. They may not get them in the next 60 days. And CleanSpark is on the move. So, and they'll both put out their financial statements, but it's going to be two totally different stories, and they're just different. They're at companies in different situations. So, Scott, I would actually agree with you. I think it's more likely that CleanSpark outperforms HUT in the next 30 days. Now, that is not a given. If they have some big news, obviously, you never know what's going to happen. But, and, you know, there's some uncertainties there right now. And until they resolve those uncertainties, they probably will not. I shouldn't say probably, but in my opinion, I agree with you. They will not keep up with CleanSpark in the short term. Now, for the long haul, over the next 2 years, 5 years, you know, that's a different analysis. Calico saying, and now it's a disaster, really, zero execution, all BS, nonsensical merger and legal issues. Add all that to selling off their Bitcoin holdings and constantly diluting shareholders. So I can see Calico is frustrated with their investment. I get it. There is a lot swirling around on HUT right now. So, and it's valid. It's a valid conversation. I mean, it's not all sunshine and roses at HUT in the short term here right now. They've got some stuff to go through. I think it's better than that description right there, but you know, that probably comes out of frustration that I understand. But yeah, I mean, HUT's got to start HUT over the next 30, 60, 90 days needs to start providing some clarity, and we need to see them resolving some of their issues instead of adding new issues. So I do think they can do that, but that's where it's at right now. That's what we need to see from them. There's no more talk. We need action. Edmund, CleanSpark free cash flow and earnings for the past quarter will be interesting. Will they show a profit? We'll listen to both CleanSpark and Iris reports. Should be interesting after hours. Yeah, I know that, and they're going to conflict with each other. So I'm going to listen to CleanSpark's first. So I will listen to CleanSpark probably in real time, and then afterwards I will go listen to Iris Energy. I wish they weren't at the same time because, you know, they're equally important, but I can only listen to one at a time. But that's a lot. And then tomorrow morning we're going to have, you know, there's a lot of conference calls to listen to in the next 5 days. So for those of you, you know, who actually have a life and you're doing something, this weekend would be a good time to catch up on those. If you're interested in listening to the conference calls, they'll still be there waiting for you. So don't worry about it. Men's Style is asking, hello, Men's Style, welcome, is asking, what about the reverse split for Bitfarms? So I don't think, and you may have asked that before I talked about this. I'm just behind on the chat. I just don't think there's going to be a reverse split. I feel comfortable that they have no reason to do that. So if they do a reverse split, they need to put out a press release explaining precisely what their line of reasoning is. And I know there's some lines of reasoning where they may feel like they want to do that. I wouldn't do it if I was them. I don't think there's any need. I think they're going to get where they're going, stay the course. It's not necessary. Ravens reiterating that Mullen just did a 1-to-25 reverse stock split. So, you know, that's not very encouraging, especially, you know, they just did that and now they're down to $1.40. So the question becomes, you're going to do a 1 to 25 reverse split. You know, if 3 weeks later you're under $1 again, I feel like it's game over. Right? Because 1 to 25 is a gigantic reverse split. So if in a month's time it's already not served its purpose, which is to get back into compliance with the NASDAQ. Now, they will get into compliance because they're going to get their 10 days in a row, but they will fall out of compliance. And if this goes under $1 again, it's likely, you know, not to get back above $1. So the chances, once it gets under $1, there's a pretty good chance it's going to have that 30-day run under $1 that puts it back out of compliance. And now, you know, that's the nightmare scenario that people worry about with reverse stock splits. So a company like this, but a company like Bitfarms, that is not going to happen to Bitfarms. If Bitfarms did a 1 to 5 reverse split and went to $5 or $6, they're not going back down to $1 because their market cap they'd be a nano cap stock at that point. Their book value would be 10 or 20 times their market cap. So that won't happen to them. So that's not a concern in my opinion. So I still wouldn't do the reverse split if I were them. That's just me. I don't find any reason to do that. But if they do, I'm not worried about it. All right. Should we end this poll? It looks pretty decisive. Bitcoin's next move, 83% are bullish right now at 35K. 25% think we're going to go retest 25K. So 35K has been winning every single time, but I will tell you on the members only live stream, this got very close yesterday. This was 60-40, I think. So, and you know, yesterday was a rough day. So, and we were down hanging around 27, you know, the low 27,000s, and it wasn't, you know, we weren't sure which way it was going to break. So it did feel like, you know, bouncing off of that 25K, we were just, and I really think it had to do with CPI. If CPI data was bad this morning, if it was 5.2 or 5.3, you know, that 25K scenario probably would have happened. But instead, it was actually a little bit of a beat. This is now, I think, the 10th month in a row that CPI is down. So I'll just go to that chart real quick. Right, we peaked in June of 2022 at 9.1%. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, it was only 0.1%, but it is down, and this continues the streak. Psychologically, I feel like that matters to people. I think a break even, staying the same would have been okay. I do think it might have been a hit to the market if we were up. You know, if this was 5.2 or 5.3, there could have been some fear that, uh-oh, you know, we're headed in the wrong direction. But that did not happen. So, and I think, let's see how the market itself is doing. So I'll just refresh to make sure. So see, the Dow is down 0.4, but again, I've said many times on this channel, I just personally don't pay any attention to the Dow. It doesn't correlate to my portfolio at all in any way. The S&P is pretty flat. You know, if anybody, most people pay attention to this. This is the number, you know, this is the broadest indicator of the market. So very flat, but green. NASDAQ's up 0.6%. Russell's up 0.2%. Oil's down a little bit. So, you know, not a gigantic reaction to this CPI report on the equity side of things, but for Bitcoin, I mean, we're a little bit almost off to the races here for Bitcoin. We're at 28,277. That's back near the highs of the day. We got up to, let's see, 28,334 was our high on the day this morning earlier. So we're back almost up to the high on the day. So very strong. We're moving in the right direction. So, okay, so let's take a look at the big board right now. Bitfarms is now up 8.5%, so that's a little bit stronger. CleanSpark, 17.5%, over $5. So, you know, $5.01 right now, so just barely. Riot's up over 12%. Marathon's up almost 14%. And these are moving in real time, obviously. Cipher's up over 12%. Iris Energy, 5%. Bit Digital's coming up on 10%. TeraWolf's at almost 9%. GREE is kind of flat on the day. Still, DigiHost is down a little bit. Still, Any is down just a little bit. So, I'm just checking something out here. Sorry, my machine was giving me a little bit of a problem. Okay, so I'm back. So, I mean, we've been up on this live stream. Bitcoin's been up. The Bitcoin miners are up. Any is now down 0.7, so that's heading towards zero. You know, if this keeps going, we've got a couple that are in a little bit in the red for some reason, and we also have GREE, which is underperforming. It's just barely in the green, but we have some big movers today, and I'm hoping this continues. I think this could put the rally back on. I want to go look at. I just want to take a look at this. So, this is the RSI on the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So you'll see we did get back. We got oversold. This was on May 8th, so a couple of days ago now. And I think this was important. We were bouncing around here, and you know, it just wasn't happening. So we had this run down. This got us back into oversold territory, and it's allowed, you know, it's allowed a reset. We had a bullish crossover a few 4-hour candles ago, and now we've had some nice green candles. So we got at the 4-hour level, I feel like we have some momentum going. We are above 50 on the RSI, so I think that's important. That potentially allows this, you know, ideally we go from oversold, you know, the RSI has room to go all the way up to overbought. So there's lots of room left to potentially run on the 4-hour if that streak continues. And then on the 1 day, I have a line here of support on the RSI on the 1 day. It's somewhere around 41.5. So at one point, I think this was, yesterday. At one point, this was touching this line, and we were retesting it. It did close above that. So this line of support held. We're not yet back to 50. So this is pretty ambiguous right here, right? There's no between 45 and 57 we're fluctuating. So, you know, I don't glean anything from this. It could go either way, but lots of room to the upside if it goes that way. And then just to look, for those of you who don't care about the technicals, sorry. And, you know, I know it's only one piece of the puzzle, but it is a piece. And there's a lot of algorithms and traders that trade on this, so I like to just stay in the loop on this. So finally, we have this is on the daily, the MACD. So on the histogram, we have a little bit of momentum shift. So 2 times, you'll see on the MACD, 2 times the histogram turned, got almost to a bullish crossover. So, you know, a lot of times you feel like, you know, you expect this type of behavior where, you know, it goes from red to light red, boom, bullish crossover, green, we have a nice run up. But that does not happen always. We got rejected here, and then we went down, and then we ran, you know, for 4 or 5 days, it looked like we were going to run up and have a bullish crossover again, and we got rejected again. So that's 2 times in a row we've been rejected, and that's why we're going sideways. You'll see even the one time we did cross over, it was with very little momentum, and we crossed right back under. So we're, you know, since March 28th, there's been no real momentum on the MACD, and we've only just now, you know, started to move in the right direction, you know, on the daily histogram. So very ambiguous. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know when, looking at the technicals, I don't know when the breakout to the upside is. I'll tell you mentally, and just my gut tells me that this is a good day, And if we can close today over 28,000, then I do think we stand a good shot at taking that run right now. So, obviously, we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. Jeff saying I'd be very careful with covered calls right now. Better off selling puts than selling a covered call, and that is definitely a point worth considering. I mean, if the run is going to continue, then covered calls isn't the way to go. Jeff said Hut's dead and Sue killed it. Mike said, I love Hut. I have not abandoned Hut. I do think that, you know, they're not in the place that they were really 6 months ago. The last 6 months have been a steady decline in production for them. They've had a couple of big issues pop up. I think they're ultra focused on their potential merger of equals, and then we're going to see how that plays out. So I do think that's what management's laser focused on happening. But in the meantime, they still have to address everything else that's going on and keep this ship moving in the right direction. So I'd like to see that out of them, but I don't think they're dead, Jeff. In my opinion, they are not dead, but questions need to be answered. I'm just scrolling down. Why is GREE underperforming? I know they aren't the best mining company, but sheesh, says Raven. GREE is one of two companies. I only have two companies that I really have a low level of confidence in. And that doesn't mean I think they're going out of business. I just don't see where they go from here. I don't see what their business plan is. GREE is one of them, and Argo Blockchain is the other. So for me, if I was ranking, those would be my bottom two ranked Bitcoin miners. And again, I'm not saying they're going out of business or they're failing. I'm just saying, you know, they had to make big changes to their business, and I just don't see where they go from here versus, you know, if I was to compare and say, am I going to put my money in GREE or one of these 17 other Bitcoin miners? For me, GREE is so low down the list that, you know, so that is just my personal opinion. But GREE and Argo Blockchain are the worst performers on the year in 2023 as well. So I think the market agrees with me. I'm not making some revelation here. Those two are the ones that are struggling. They've lagged behind. So if you do think you know what GREE is doing and they have a great plan, they have been trailing way behind their competitors from a stock standpoint. So, you know, if you have conviction in GREE, there could be huge upside. But I do not have any conviction in GREE, and I don't have any conviction in Argo Blockchain. So, you know, that's the number one thing. At the end of the day, no matter what else you think or see happening, if you don't believe in the company, it's very, very hard to get through the tough times. Like, Eni is a company I like. They're not doing, you know, their stock performance hasn't done what I wanted it to do over the last month. And it may be a month away from still doing it. But I have a strategy there, and they're, you know, I still have conviction in them. So we'll see. Now, if it's 90 days from now and they didn't do what they said they were going to do, I'll change my mind. We're all, remember, so it's important. There's no reason to be stubborn. If the company's performance changes or the market changes or circumstances change, we don't have to be committed to, oh, but you said you liked this company. Well, I did, but then they had 3 bad months in a row. And, you know, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. And so now I don't like them, because that's one of my biggest things. You got to do what you say you're going to do as a publicly traded company. So be careful about setting expectations, because if you miss and miss and miss, people are going to bail out of your stock. It's just that simple. You've lost your credibility, And that's huge in the stock market. Sourmelon Gaming said the Bitcoin mining sector will end 2023 with the greatest stock returns. I have no doubt. This is incredible. So I think so. I mean, I'm very bullish on the rest of this year, and I don't think necessarily that Bitcoin's going to go hit an all-time new high and anything like that. But I do think it's going to keep getting healthier. I think it's up from here. You know, so it doesn't have to hit a new all-time high by December 31st, 2023 for these miners to have a spectacular year. But if it can, in my opinion, I think it can get back into that $40,000 to $45,000 trading range. And I think all these Bitcoin miners are going to have huge moves to the upside if that happens in 2023. And then that's not the end of the run. That's the beginning, because that's not my long-term price target for Bitcoin by any means. But you never know. End of the year price targets are very, very, very difficult. All right, I'm going to end this poll. It is clear people are bullish. 86% think we're going to 35,000. And I think I got to wrap up. This was an unscheduled middle of the day live stream. I appreciate everybody joining in on the live stream. Thank you to all the members for your support. If you are not a member, you can become a member by hitting the join button on the YouTube page right next to the subscribe button. It's only $5 a month, and I do appreciate all the members very much. Also, we have a great Discord conversation going, and as well as a once-a-week members-only live stream, and a bunch of content ready and waiting for you should you choose to join. So for those of you who have, thanks again. And to all the subscribers, thank you for your support and for your comments. It means a lot. It's what keeps the channel going. So hopefully we finish out this day the way it started. Let's go Bitcoin. And good luck to everybody. Have a fantastic day. Thanks again.